I don't know about you, but I was super excited when they added Sabertooth to the game. Hey everybody, welcome back to MPQ Mastery, where we help you destroy more gems. Follow us on Twitter at MPQ Mastery. You can also find us on Facebook there too. So if you've been with us for a while, you know that I created my own version of Sabertooth months ago, months before it was ever announced, and I kind of gave an interesting design, nothing like what the final one came out to be, because they just released an actual Sabertooth character to the game. I had talked a lot about how integral this character was. Like, why wasn't this character already in the game? He has been Wolverine's arch nemesis for so long. He has been at the center of almost every X-Men Brotherhood debate, fight, battle, whatever you want to call it. And it just seems so weird that we had 5, 6 different versions of Wolverine, and yet no Sabertooth. And I know, I get it, licensing and all of that stuff. But it really would be very cool to get some of these side characters that are very integral to some of the main characters' stories and comics. Now, of course, some of those characters are support, and that's cool. I guess that's a way to have them represented. But some of them really do deserve to have their own character. So, again, I was super excited when Sabertooth finally got added, and I really like his power set. And today is going to be an MPQ profile on Sabertooth. I'm going to be going through his power sets. I'm going to be going through kind of what you can do with those abilities, how they work together, and how they might sync up with other characters. I only have one cover for Sabertooth so far, so using him in a fight necessarily as an example in the video isn't going to do anybody any good. I might do that in the future when I do get more covers for him. At the moment, that's just a little bit difficult to do, but I do just want to say, I saw him coming. We are nearing 1,000 subscribers, so I want to take this moment real quick to thank everybody who has joined us in our discussions of our favorite mobile game, Marvel Puzzle Quest. Definitely, if you've been enjoying these videos, take a moment and like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification, but most importantly, share the video around. There's Reddit, there's Facebook, there's Twitter, there's all these different places where we really haven't hit yet, and this channel has a lot of room for growth at this point, but we are almost to the 1,000 subscriber mark, and I can't wait to reach that with you guys. So the first thing is that Sabertooth is a 4-star character. He is the 4-star Victor Creed Sabertooth, just in case they decide to come out with another one later on. And I have to say, I'm a big fan of having different iterations of the character. I know that they've been kind of trying to skirt that a bit by coming out with other costumes, but I like the different costumes being different versions of the characters, maybe different starred levels and stuff like that. And he is a green, black, red character, so those are obviously his biggest, most powerful colors. So you'll want to match him in groups that maybe don't already use those colors, but his abilities already lend themselves really well to some really cool combos with other characters. So let's go ahead and get into those powers and we can talk about that. So the first power is called You Shoulda Run, and this power is going to make him an absolute anti-Wolverine character, because he's going to, at first, destroy 3x3 block every time he would match an enemy strike tile, but when you get that up to level 5, then he's destroying that 3x3 block and dealing 1,256 damage, which is a lot of damage for just matching an enemy strike tile. Now, there are a lot of characters who use strike tiles as like their main thing. So this makes Sabertooth not only an anti-Wolverine character, because almost all of the Wolverines, just pretty much just like except for the X-Force Wolverine, their main thing is I hit and I put on strike tiles. But he's going to be massive against characters like Dazzler, characters like Jessica Jones. Like, he is going to be a beast against these characters that throw a lot of strike tiles on the board, and you're like, I'm good with it, let's do it, I'm gonna wreck this. His second power is pretty cool because it feeds into the first power. It's called Happy Birthday, Runt. because what this does is he immediately throws some strike tiles for his enemy onto the board, and then deals damage for every enemy strike tile that is on the board. Now, and of course, the strike tiles he's given you are really, really weak, so it is not that much of a present. He's really just using it to boost his own damage. And at level 1, he's dealing 162 damage per strike tile, which isn't that much. But then at level 5, he's dealing 532 damage per strike tile, which is actually a bit. Again, especially when you're going up against some characters that might have 5, 6 on the board at a time, and he is limited to up to 9. So that means at most he'll deal 4,500 damage, but that is still pretty good, because the power itself only costs 7 black. And the fact that You Shoulda Run is a passive ability is really awesome. Then we get to the final power, which is his red power called Tooth and Nail. And this power is pretty cool. It's kind of like Valkyrie's red ability as well, where he attacks 4 times for a set amount of damage, and if he downs somebody, the next attacks just go to the next person. I really like this approach to powers because I hate it when it would deal a bunch of damage, but then you down the person, so it's like, oh, well, I guess it was just wasted. It's like, no, I like this one. It's like, all right, I took 1 down, let's go for the next one. I dig that a lot, so I think it really also fits in with Sabertooth. Now, the only thing with this power is that it ignores friendly strike tiles. So the damage he deals is flat and is not enhanced by any strike tiles that you might have given to yourself. So it's still pretty good. At level 1, he ends up hitting for 233 damage 4 times, whereas at level 5, he's hitting for 979 damage each time 4 times. So that's still quite a bit of damage, even without the strike boosts. The thing about this build for the character, however, is that honestly, looking at it all, he really feels like he's more of a 3-star character, because he has these really cool abilities, but they also seem to be capped. Like almost every single one of them has some sort of cap to it, which also kind of limits their usefulness. You Shoulda Run doesn't have anything like that, but Happy Birthday Runt is limited to 9 strike tiles, so you're not going to just like throw a bunch of strike tiles, damage, throw a bunch more damage, throw a bunch more damage. You're gonna have to stop at a certain level where it's not going to really matter all that much anymore. And then the fact that he ignores friendly strike tiles with his red power, it makes it a little bit less useful, even though he is really cool still. So I'm definitely not bashing the design of the character, but he really feels more like he is a 3-star character. He feels like he's on par with the 3-star Patch Wolverine, and not necessarily a whole step above. Now already his abilities, especially the You Shoulda Run, definitely feeds into some early easy characters for you to match him up with. Honestly, the 3-star Patch, as I just mentioned, his green power that puts some strike tiles for you and for your opponent on the board immediately is going to make Sabertooth way more useful. And it's a green ability, which means any green AP you've got can go to Wolverine, because Sabertooth's green ability is passive. He doesn't need the AP. Another character that would go well with Sabertooth would be Elektra, because what you can do is you can have Sabertooth throw some enemy strike tiles on the board and have Elektra steal those and put others anyway. And you can kind of keep them kind of going on this interesting cycle where you're putting some on, stealing them and empowering them, putting some on, stealing them and empowering them. I'm actually thinking that the 3 of them together would make for a pretty cool group, except that would leave blue without any representation, so it would be a dead color. Not necessarily the worst thing. I've had teams that have a dead color before. I'm gonna have to try that again as soon as I have more covers available for Sabertooth. But if you have had a chance to use Sabertooth more, let me know who you've been using him with. Let me know what you think of him. Do you think he deserves to be a 4-star? Or should he really kind of be more of a 3-star? Let me know down in the comments. Let's continue the discussion. So thank you for coming to MPQ Mastery. Go destroy some gems.